Ladies and gentlemen, there are rumours afoot that Crytek's UK staff are no longer going to work. So in this RedGamer.com video, we're going to be discussing this. So there's a good chance that you've heard that Crytek, who are of course an independent games developer, they have released titles such as Crisis and Rise, haven't been doing too hot financially. Now, not only have they released these games, they are of course responsible for the CryEngine, which is not only being used in those games, but also being licensed out to other people. However, reports have basically pointed out that, well, experience and reception of the engine compared to, say, the Unreal Engine and so on, has been somewhat mixed. And so there have been numerous reports that basically Crytek have not been able to pay staff on time. They've basically not been paying them for the hours or the agreed upon sums. And indeed, there was a Rise sequel, and that was apparently cancelled. It was canned because Microsoft and Crytek had a bit of a disagreement regarding who actually owns the rights to the franchise. So right now there's a piece on Kotaku, and the article states that the author has actually spoken to different people, actually 4 different people from Crytek's UK studio, and they are responsible currently for developing Homefront: The Revolution. Now, according to these people, Crytek's UK staff have not been paid at all the full amounts they've been owed. So they've been paid basically partial sums of money, and so this has caused the staff to basically issue formal grievance letters. So these letters have basically said, hey, what the hell's going on? And then they've basically just walked out, left. In fact, while they're kind of on this strike situation, it's unknown whether they've basically formally quit or whether they've just simply gone on strike. There's about 100 people who have left. So it's a bit ambiguous right now what's actually going on. Now, another rumour is circulating that Crytek and Deep Silver are currently in negotiation. So Deep Silver are the publishers behind Homefront, and obviously there's been quite a lot of work at the end of the day that's been put into making the title. It's not like the staff have been doing it for free. Generally speaking, the publishers will cough up a large amount of the cash. So what's basically happened is that Deep Silver are not wanting to lose that amount of work, because effectively it's a large investment. And so one avenue that they're pursuing, apparently Crytek UK, is that they're hoping that Deep Silver have deep pockets and are basically willing to purchase the studio, buy them out, and then continue to fund the development of Homefront. But of course this has not been confirmed, and I was tempted to reach out to either Crytek or Deep Silver, but I have a feeling that they simply won't respond. They have pretty much declined comments through all of the press probing recently. Like, really major websites have asked them, and they've basically issued no comment. In fact, in some cases they've said, no, business is normal, business is fine, despite the fact that, well, effectively it's the effective equivalent of your staff is on strike. I've got to admit, I'm actually kind of surprised this is happening to Crytek. I'll be totally honest, I don't usually follow the sales figures of games. It's not like, I mean, obviously I have a fair indication of whether a game's doing well, but I'll be honest, I honestly believed that Crytek were doing pretty good. So I think from what I'm gathering, and obviously right now this is rumours, speculations and hearsay, but a lot of this comes down to multiple things. It's not like it was one issue. There's the engine issues. Now, you've got to remember that it's not just the CryEngine out there. There's dozens of different engines, and not only are quite a lot of developers now creating their own in-house ones, for example the Snowdrop engine from Ubisoft, but you've also got, say, Unity, which is becoming very popular. It's very easy to deploy to multiple different platforms. You've of course got the changes to the Unreal Engine, and Unreal once again is very popular. UDK is becoming pretty much industry standard along with Unity, and it's very difficult for Crytek to push their own engine here. It's not to say that their engine is bad. Technically, it's actually really good. It handles certain things better, maybe, even. But despite the fact that their licenses are actually pretty generous, even so, Epic aren't going to be giving up this mantle anytime soon. So it basically just didn't impress, considering that, of course, the Unreal engines have just looked so damn awesome recently. Plus, additionally, Rise, from what we understand, was not a great success for them. Opinions of the game were somewhat mixed. You know, they weren't negative per se. No one actually went on record and said, wow, this game is awful. And I personally think it looked kind of cool. But it didn't become the system seller that they hoped it was. You know, they really expected it to do better. And I think there's multiple reasons behind that. I don't think that it was like one thing. I think that in some ways it's actually the fault of Microsoft. I think in some ways it's kind of Crytek's fault as well. I don't think it was a particularly innovative game in terms of the gameplay. And all of these different issues are just compounding. Plus, rising development costs. It's not like games development is becoming cheaper. And my guess is the fact that they just released it on one platform, Rise I refer to, it probably didn't help their financial situation. I'm really hoping that Crytek don't dissolve. I've got to be honest, the Crysis series of games I absolutely love. I actually really am a big fan of Crysis 3 and Crysis 2. So what I don't want to happen is them just to disappear into obscurity. It's also got to be a bit concerning as well for developers who have decided to embrace the CryEngine. And that's another issue. That's actually another concern. Because there's been rumours that they've been having financial issues for a while. And I'm sure before we heard about it, in other words, members of the press or the public, I'm sure that rumours were circulating in like rooms somewhere amongst the gaming industry. And so the thing is, it's like if you're creating a new game, let's say you're creating Shooter 3002, if you had the choice between going between different engines, would you go with the CryEngine? And it really depends on the level of support, and if you feel that the company might not be around for a certain amount of time, well, there's always that worry. In the end, I feel that it probably will be resolved, someone will buy them out. I don't think Homefront is just gonna fall into stagnation. At least I'm hoping not, because it actually looked kind of a cool game. But at the same time, I guess, well, at the end of the day, Deep Silver don't have infinite money, and so they'll probably have to do a lot of internal analysis on what the sales figures are going to be like for the game, what they project they're going to be like compared to the cost of actually releasing it, and whether it's better just for them to give up or not. For the employees over at Crytek, I feel really bad for them. I imagine not only is it a case of they don't want to lose their jobs, because it's actually a pretty bad market right now. The game industry is doing fairly well in some respects, but also in others it's not. There have been a couple of large studios recently that have closed down. Finally, I really hope that nothing really bad happens to the IPs, because Crytek makes some really good games, really good technology, and I think it would be a really big shame if we were to lose that. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.